Hi, everyone. Welcome to Radical Age Reversal. I am Carrie Donegan, your host, and we're going to get started in 1 minute. We are going to add our Win-Win Women audience. So, if you're not familiar with the Win-Win Women Network, check it out. It's a really cool network of all women who are passionate about different things and are experts in their field. And we're all talking about different subjects that I think are interesting to both men and women. So please take a look at the Win-Win Women Network. And you just go to winwinwomen.com and you can see all these fabulous shows. So we're going to bring in that audience right now. Welcome to our Win-Win Women Network and our YouTube audience as well. We're excited to be here today. My name is Carrie Donegan, and I am your host for Radical Age Reversal. This is a podcast where you learn how to age in reverse and just get stronger as your birthday candles get more numerous. So let's jump into today's episode. We are in the book Eat to Beat Your Diet. I'm starting on page 96, and our episode today is called DNA versus Fat. And you might think that's a really strange combination or battle that we're waging in our body. And why on earth would we need to do that? Well, today we're going to talk about a couple of things. First and foremost, we're going to talk about your DNA, why it's important as a defensive system, as an offensive system, what it has to do with fat, what it has to do with immunity. And we're going to talk about three doTERRA products. We're going to talk about E Omega, VMG, and MetaPower and find out what they have to do with your DNA and your fat and your immunity and what that means to you. And lastly, we're going to round up the first part of this book. So you guys have been great sticking with all the details. And in our next episode, we're going to start part two, which gets into the nitty-gritty, I believe, of the recipes that we all want to learn about on trying to achieve our longevity and our health, because it's really important for us to live healthy days, as many as possible. And if we find that our bodies are going in the wrong direction, that we're able to right them as soon as possible so we don't go too far afield. And I think that's what this chapter is really about. Again, we're starting on page 96, and the chapter is called DNA Defenses Counter Fat. And I was really curious when I saw that title. He starts off by saying your DNA defenses protect your genetic code against damaging forces, especially oxidative stressors, the chemicals that act like rogue samurai slashing at your DNA. Excess fat increases oxidative stress. So many years ago, somebody gave me this great metaphor that stuck with me, which is oxidative stress is like your body rusting, and nobody wants to rust. In fact, today I was in a parking lot and I saw this beautiful white car covered with rust around the wheels. And I thought, wow, I haven't seen a car rust for a really long time. It's not very attractive. And you could tell that the car either looked old or was old. It just didn't look healthy. So make yourself a car right now. Do you want want your body to be rusting? I don't think you do. You know that it can crumble. You know that it could fall apart. It's not definitely not going to be in its prime working order. So we want to keep our bodies from rusting. I think we would all agree on that. So let's talk about three things right now. First, we're going to create a shield, a DNA shield. So your DNA needs to be protected. So what can you do in your everyday life to create a shield, or I think of it as like an armor for your DNA? Since we're talking about samurai, we might as well go with the same motif. The second thing we're going to talk about is your DNA getting shut down, which is what we call methylation. Okay, because sometimes we want your DNA to actually turn off and methylate. The third thing we're going to talk about is actually activating genes, activating up to 27 different genes that are going to actually help protect your body. So it's really cool. So the DNA protects your body in three different ways, but it needs foods to help it. So it needs a shield. It needs to be told when to turn on, and it needs to be told when to turn off. So let's talk about what you can do to do that. So let's first talk about the armor, okay? Or as Dr. Lee calls it, the shield that our DNA needs. So he says, chronic inflammation can lead to harmful DNA damage. So we need foods that are antioxidant and anti-inflammatory to become a protection. Now, the foods that he lists are kiwi, tomato, watermelon, broccoli, broccoli sprouts, citrus, papaya, red bell pepper, and C-rich foods in omega-3 fatty acids. So I will share with you, when I look at the omegas that we need to create that protective shield, we are in the 500 to 800 milligram range. And if you look at seafood in the store and you see what those milligrams are, it takes a tremendous amount of food to reach that really high level. So this is what I'm going to recommend for you, the doTERRA EO Omega Plus. So I just want to show you, these are capsules that have wild orange in them, which, by the way, if we jump ahead to number 3, which is how do you activate those genes, it has something called wild orange in it. And wild orange essential oil is one of those recommended foods that you can take to activate your genes. So that's step 3 or aspect number 3. So I just want to show you these pills. That's all you do. You can actually chew them. It's a little bit like you pop it open, you get a little bit of liquid, tastes like wild orange, and then the capsule is a little bit like eating like a bubble tea kind of thing. So whatever you want to do, I just like to swallow them too. So I will take a little bit of water right now. We're going to do something with that water in a minute, and I will take the other 2 capsules in a minute because I just want to show you the routine that I do that's so fast and effective, and it falls within Dr. Lee's guidelines. So I needed something that wasn't labor intensive, that depending on my day, I knew I was covered, right? I needed something really quick. So I knew that I was covered for the day. That doesn't give me license to go out and eat a lot of junky foods. What it does is protect me against my own schedule, my own refrigerator, and all the food that I may or may not have access to in that one day. It would be great if I could make a list of those groceries and make sure I was preparing them and getting them in proper amounts. But if I can ensure that I'm going to get what I need through a very easy step, and I'm going to show you what that is very, very soon, I think you're going to see that as long as you feel like I'm doing this every day and I'm covered, then anything I do in terms of eating right is going to be bonus, which is great, right? We're staying in the same realm, but it's not that your life is dictated by your cooking. And I don't think that's practical for most of us. All right. So let's go on to step number 2, right? So number 1, you're going to take 3 of the Omega Plus to cover yourself as a shield. That's going to shield and protect your DNA. Just imagine it like the samurai being armed in the most beautiful armor, right? Your DNA is being enrobed in these antioxidant protection, anti-inflammatory protection. Number 2, we're going to go to DNA methylation. So I want to read this so that you understand it a little bit better. I want to make sure I get his words correct. So what he says is certain foods can also turn on or turn off your DNA in ways that protect you against harmful fat. This is called epigenetic change, and foods like dark leafy greens, beans, legumes, and beets are known to do this. They bring about a process called DNA methylation. The epigenetic change is associated with slimming down abdominal fat, weight loss, and improving metabolism, which improves your immune system, right? So we're interested not just in, oh, when I hear immunity, do I think I don't want to get a cold, right? Or I don't want to get the flu if it's going around, or that colleague just sneezed in my general direction. Oh no, I'm going to be out sick. No, 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 no. If you have a good, strong immune system, doesn't matter how many germs you come into contact with, you got your shield, right? So what can we do for that? To get that methylation, we're going to use the VMG plus. Now, this is a package, this is a powder, and and I'm going to show you what you do with this. I'm going to take this right now, and I am going to put it in that water. Okay. So I'm going to show you how cool this is. And when you order the wellness kit from doTERRA, you're going to get this cool shaker bottle, which is made out of glass, which is great. And you're just going to pour this in. Okay. And then once you do that, so fast and easy, you're going to take the lid and you can add other things to do this. You can add your Meta Power Advantage. You could add your Electrolyte Restore or your Recharge, I'm sorry. All kinds of stuff that you can do in here. So now you saw that was very easy to mix. Tastes like a tropical fruit drink. So don't let the color fool you. This does not taste, as my son would say, like you mowed the front lawn. All right, you're getting all the green goodness that he mentions in the book, but you're also getting a lot of the other bioactives that we talked about in previous chapters, and they're going to be in there too. And they're going to flavor this yummy powder for you so that you don't feel like it's too strong of a bitter taste. So we've taken the bitterness out, which is great. So that's the VMG plus. Now, the third thing we want to do is activate your genes. So he said another epigenetic tactic useful for combating fat involves in turning on genes that cause undesirable white fat cells to become more desirable brown fat or beige fat cells. There are at least 27 genes that can be activated in brown and beige fat, but not in white fat. By flipping on a switch of these genes, white fat becomes brown. Foods like chili peppers, apples, onions, peppermint, coffee, oregano, tomatoes, strawberries, blueberries, and bok choy can activate these useful fat-fighting genes to improve your metabolism. You can perform gene therapy in your kitchen. Okay, so that takes me to step number 3, which is the doTERRA MetaPower Blend. Now, I've talked a lot about, I love oregano oil, right? You can add oregano oil to a capsule. Don't add it to your VMG. Firstly, you're going to take away this yummy taste. We don't want to do that. Secondly, oregano is very hot. And so you want to put it in a capsule, just a drop, or if you're putting it in your oil blend, you can just add it to your oil blend and you'll get it in the percentage that you add the other oils. But what I like to do with MetaPower, if you're not one to take capsules, is you can actually add 4 drops of this, 1, 2, 3, 4, to your to your VMG. Okay. This is so fast. This is why I like this. This is so easy. Anyone can do this. It's not going to go bad. You don't have to worry about storing it. You don't have to worry about your apples rotting or your food in your refrigerator turning brown. Okay. This is what's great about this. Always fresh, always ready, always potent. So yummy. Now you're going to get a little bit of peppermint because there's peppermint in the MetaPower. And he said you should have peppermint, right? That was one of the things that I read. Now, if you feel like it changes the taste too much, go with the capsule. And if you really don't want to make your own capsule, doTERRA makes MetaPower soft gels with the oil blend inside, already done for you. You can order those too. So whatever method you like, I like the versatility of having the oil because then I can actually rub it on my fat. I can put it in a diffuser. I can make ice cubes out of it. There's like lots of other things that I can do with the oil that I can't do with the soft gels, but it is easier to buy the soft gels. So it's totally up to you. Now, let's talk about your immune defenses rallying against your fat. There's also going to be 3 things or 2 things here. No, there's 2 things that we're going to talk about. So your immune defense system tackles bacteria, viruses, and cancer cells. Okay, that's important to know because sometimes I think when people say, "Oh, I've been diagnosed with cancer," it's like you're helpless. It's like you have this thing. And if you have this thing, then you're stuck with this thing. But that's not really the way cancer works. Cancer works the same way a bacteria or a virus works. Just as much as your immune system can overcome a bacteria or a virus, your immune system can also overcome cancer cells. So, how do we do that? How do we activate our immune system to make sure that we have a good defense? What we need to do is focus on our immunity. So where is it? Okay, it's in two places. One, it's in your microbiome, which we've talked about a lot. That's why we take doTERRA Restore. And also the oregano, the thyme, marjoram, and rosemary. Okay, all of those are going to be really good feeders for your microbiome. The second thing is in your adipose tissue. So in that white tissue, as long as it's not too much, you're going to find your immunity. Now, here's the cool thing. I want you to imagine that white fat, okay? And it has a special name when it comes to your immune system. Now, remember, a proper amount of white fat is going to cushion your vital organs. It's going to create your body shape. It's a good thing. We can't live without fat, right? We learned at the beginning of the book that fat has a purpose. We just don't want it to get out of control. When you have that white fat, you have a very special organ that's created. It's called omentum. So omentum, omentum. And omentum, which is in your belly. Okay, so all those of you who like hate belly fat, but you need a little bit of belly fat, okay? He calls it a slab, a flat slab. All right, so we're not talking about a pooch. We're talking about a fat slab of fat. It performs a protective function and it moves and molds itself around areas where your intestines may have been damaged to wall off the rest of your body from infection, which I think is super cool. Okay. Once it's spotted the inflammation, all right, it ropes off the infectious spot. And like a flamethrower, I love this imagery. It sends um, it attacks the affected area to destroy any harmful organisms. When the danger is over, your omentum turns off the inflammation using special immune cells called M2 macrophages, which is macrophages, you know where you get those? In the Restore, in the doTERRA Restore. We have macrophages, and no one else is doing this. I think it's so cool, this technology that we have. And regulatory T cells. The job of these cells is to bring immune defenses in fat back to normal, healthy levels. Excess body fat wreaks havoc on the delicate balance between immunity and inflammation and cause inflammation to dominate and rip dangerously through your body. Okay, so we have an emergency. Our omentum goes to work. It's like a flamethrower and it sends this infusion of attack cells into the area of concern and it annihilates it. Then it shuts itself off. Okay. If you have too much fat, all you get is constant flame throwing. So inflammation, swelling, inflammation, terrible things can happen, right? It's not getting shut off. So excess inflammation leads to inflammatory diseases, makes sense, right? Like diabetes and atherosclerosis and cancers. Okay, so it's a balance that we're trying to achieve. We're trying to have enough fat to create a slab, not a pooch, not a pouch, not a ball of fat in our belly, to then send out these cells that are necessary to fight infection or fight disease or fight cancer. And then when it's done its duty, it turns itself off. Okay. And that's why the right amount of fat is critical for a healthy body and a healthy immune system. All right. Let's look at anti-inflammatory foods. Okay. So if you're someone who's full of inflammation, we need to get that inflammation in your body down. We need to take those flamethrowers and shut them off. So what can you eat? Blueberries, green tea. Obviously, you're gonna drink it. Foods containing vitamin C like citrus, Metapower. Okay, Metapower, lots of citrus in here. Red cabbage, kiwi. Those are just some examples he gives us of immune multitaskers, he calls them, that can interrupt the dangers of too much body fat and help you restore your metabolism. Now, one of the things we want is to take all of our superpower immune system functions and put them together to create a hero team of bioactives inside your body. So how do you do that? You do that by assembling all three together. So you're going to need your VMG to methylate. You're going to need your omegas to create a shield, and you're going to need your MetaPower to turn on those 27 genes. So I'm going to show you how quick and easy this is. So I'm going to take the other two, because I already took one of my omegas. I added a few drops in here, and all I have to do is drink this today. Now, you can drink this all at once, or you can spread it out through the day. I'm going to be doing another video on a different platform, so I'm not going to drink all of this at once because I want to show them what I'm doing as well. It's so good, it's hard not to drink. All right. That's easy, right? That took no time at all, correct? So I could have been in the kitchen. I could have been running to the store and the farmer's market trying to get foods and all different kinds of weather and all different kinds of season. And I'm not saying don't eat all these foods. In fact, I am telling you, eat the foods Dr. Lee tells you to eat. It's going to be great. And we're going to get into it in the next chapter. It's going to give us some, I believe, it's going to give us an outline for some, yeah, really great foods. Going to go deep into the foods that we should eat. I'm excited about this and what diets we should want. So I think it's important for us to be committed to two things. One is to fast and easy supplementation so we're covered. And the second is to adding really good things into our diet and taking out the things that aren't serving us. And thirdly, I think it's really important that we understand fat, not in a way where we vilify it, not in a way where we ignore it, but in a way where it is being used to serve us. So, come to the end of another episode. Here's to breaking the limits of age and living each day with vitality. Keep thriving, and I'll see you in the next episode of Radical Age Reversal.